Stop the judgment for 1 second. What if everything you think you know about age gap relationships is wrong? What if the data says the person you're feeling sorry for is actually happier than you are? A massive study of 130 countries reveals the truth about who dates who and why. We spent months talking to sociologists, psychologists, and real couples with gaps from 5 to 25 years. What we found will challenge your biases about love, power, and that simple number, age. This isn't about defending or attacking. It's about understanding. And it starts with a single, shocking global average. Let's establish the baseline. Worldwide, in heterosexual relationships, men are on average 4.2 years older than women. But this isn't a universal rule. It's a story of economics and equality. See the pattern? Research shows that as a country's gender equality and GDP increase, the average age gap shrinks. In the US, the most common gap is now just 2.2 years, and over half of all married couples are within 2 years of each other. So, the huge age gap is statistically the exception, not the rule. But the exceptions are where the fascination and the judgment lies. Here's the first bombshell. If you assume the younger person in a large age gap relationship is being taken advantage of, the data suggests you might have it backwards. A recent study found that, on average, the older partner reports higher relationship satisfaction, and this is especially strong when the older partner is a man. Think about that. The person society often paints as the predator or the midlife crisis case is reporting more happiness. Why? Psychologists point to complementary needs. The older partner may feel valued for their stability and experience, while the younger partner appreciates the maturity and direction. But this is just one piece of a very complex puzzle. Of course, challenges are real. Therapists highlight potential imbalances in life stages, different energy levels, health concerns, and priorities about family or retirement. A 35-year-old might be ready for kids, a 50-year-old might be planning their next career chapter. And there's a stark practical consequence often overlooked. Women live longer than men. So if a woman is already 10 years younger than her husband, the math on widowhood is harsh. These aren't petty concerns. They're the real foundations couples have to build on or navigate around. So we have the data, we have the challenges. But to truly understand, we have to ask the fundamental why. And that answer splits dramatically down gender lines. This is the most common and culturally accepted pattern: the older man and younger woman. The reasons are a mix of evolutionary psychology, the idea that men seek signs of fertility, and social structures where men accrue resources with age. But experts warn this is often wildly oversimplified into an excuse. In reality, men often speak about the energy, fresh perspective, and genuine appreciation a younger partner brings. It's less about control and more about a shared vitality. And from the younger woman's side, it's frequently cited as emotional maturity, stability, and a clear sense of direction from her partner. It's not a parent-child dynamic. It's often a peer dynamic with an experience gap. Now, flip the script. An older woman with a younger man? Why is this still a scandal? There is no equivalent male term to cougar that carries the same predatory sting. But look at the search data. Nearly 90% of men express interest in dating someone 10 years older. And on popular dating apps, a majority of women are open to dating younger men. The desire is there. The judgment is louder. They assume it's just for sex. They never assume that maybe I could be loved. For the younger man, an older woman can represent confidence, sexual clarity, and freedom from traditional provider pressures. For the woman, it's about being desired for her accumulated power, wisdom, and yes, her body, on her own terms. It's a dynamic not of caregiving, but of mutual empowerment. So who's right? The judges or the couples? Let's ask them directly. We met Mark, who's 52, and Chloe, who's 29. They have a 23-year gap. The weirdest thing, Mark says, is when people assume I'm her father. We met at work, bonded over a shared love for hiking and obscure films. The age thing fades away when you're just two people sharing a life. Then there's Serena, 58, and Ben, 42, a 16-year gap where the woman is older. My friends were supportive, his mother. Took a year to come around, Serena laughs. We met in a gym class. He makes me feel energetic and seen for who I am right now, not who I was decades ago. And David and Priya, with a smaller 8-year gap. We forget about it until we get that look from a waiter, Priya says, or when someone makes a sugar daddy joke. It's exhausting to constantly have your relationship reduced to a cliché. The universal thread. They all hate the assumptions. The gold digger, the midlife crisis, the mommy issues. What if it's just two people? So, if you're in one, or considering one, what works? Therapists emphasize communication that acknowledges the gap without letting it dominate. Talk about your 5, 10, 20-year plans now. First, talk life stages, kids. Retirement, caregiving. Get brutally honest about your timelines. Second, build a united front. Have prepared, polite responses to rude questions from family or strangers. Third, find your tribe. Connect with other age gap couples. They get it. Finally, and most importantly, focus on compatibility. Shared values, senses of humor, and life goals matter infinitely more than shared birth years. The goal isn't to have a perfect relationship, it's to have a resilient one. We started with judgment. We looked at data from millions. We heard from science and from the heart. Here's the conclusion. Age gap relationships aren't a trend or a pathology. They're a human variation. The real question isn't how could they, it's why do we care so much? Does their happiness threaten our own ideas about love and timing? Maybe the most radical act is to let people write their own love stories. So I'm asking you, what do you think? Does society need to back off, or are some judgments valid? Share this with someone it made you think of. Thanks for watching.